Wasn't quite sure what to say, I never am. But today, as we move forward from this tragedy, we got to look at the positives that could come out of it, which we probably didn't think could ever happen, but they have. One of them is this building you're in right now. This area was chosen by Sean Gannon himself to be the site of our new canine training area. But as a result of many people, the Yarmouth Police Foundation, Sand Dollar Custom Builders, they put this building together to help train so many officers for decades to come, because we all knew that Sean was very into training and doing the best that he could do. And it was all done through donations, so that's pretty incredible. Additionally, Governor Baker signed a training bill not long after the loss of Sean. That was something that wouldn't have happened. But today, we are happy to report for our canine officers especially, and their beloved partners, which are really part of them, to be here to ceremoniously sign the Nero law. We have Nero sitting right over here, which but get a good look at Nero, because that's a symbol. That's a symbol of strength, resilience, and we can overcome a lot of things if we all work together. I know it holds a special place in my heart, and when I see him, it gives you strength. Despite everything we have gone through over the past few years, people keep calling, our canines keep responding, they do the work that nobody else wants to do. And Dara, God love you. So, for my canine brothers and sisters, there I know most of them are outside eating the leftover sandwiches. This is for them too. They need to be able to work knowing that their partner, their family member, canine, is going to get the best services they can should they be injured on duty. And this bill will accomplish that. I know Dr. Smith, I'm not sure if she's here. Thank you for doing that. There's a bunch of people who made that happen. We got Will Crocker somewhere around here who put this in motion. And there's a few others. Maybe someone heard of Representative Stephen G. Exaros. He is in the House. But I'm going to turn this over now, because I've talked enough, to our friend, Charles Baker. Governor, thank you.
So, thank you. Please, you can grab a seat. Let me just start by saying that Bruce Tarr will vouch for me on this one. The Lieutenant Governor and I brought this issue up at our weekly leadership meeting every week for over a year. There are plenty of other things we could have brought up in that leadership meeting, and we did. But we brought this one up every single week. And the reason we did that was for a bunch of reasons. One of them was a really simple one. It was the right thing to do. The second is we both believe, the Lieutenant Governor and I, that this was part of the healing process the closing of the book, the turning of the page, the opportunity to pull something positive out of such a horrible, terrible, tragic situation. And we're really honored to be able to have this chance to engage in this ceremonial signing here, in this community, kind of in the house that Sean built, with a lot of help from his community. And to also have a chance to recognize Kit, who saved the lives of these two gentlemen in the front row from Braintree, who were basically about to be ambushed at the point in time that the dog figured out, before anybody else did, what was going on, and charged the man who was planning to shoot and kill, assassinate several Braintree police officers. These dogs, they are very special. And sometimes people say, you know, it's crazy, the relationship that these officers have with their partner. As the stories pile up and time goes by, and the number of circumstances and situations in which these dogs, well trained, deliver on behalf of their partners and the communities they serve and represent, we shouldn't even have to debate or discuss whether or not if they get shot or injured in the line of duty, that we should do what we can to save them. Because Lord knows they would save us if the role was reversed. And it's so terrific, by the way, to see so many members of the legislature here today to celebrate with us. And Joe Ferrara from the Governor's Council as well. This is very much a team effort. This is something many of us wanted to see happen, and not just for the Gannon family, but for all the other Gannon families who are out there and whose family members depend on these dogs to keep them and their communities safe. I've carried this around in my pocket for 4 years. It's Sean Gannon's card from the funeral. And I carried it for a couple of reasons. The biggest one was I never wanted to forget what happened to him. Because it happens all the time to people in law enforcement. I wear Sergeant Chestnut's bracelet for the same reason. Serving a warrant, answering a call, doing a stop, executing a search. These things change in the blink of an eye. And going from just another moment on the job to a potentially and sometimes ultimately life-saving, life-threatening moment. And I never wanted to forget about the role that those dogs play in helping their partners prevent the absolute worst from happening. So when we did get this passed, and we did sign it right away, it was very important to us and to many others that we have a chance to come here, to have this chance to properly acknowledge and celebrate all those whose role was so important in making this happen. So yeah, there's a tremendous amount of sadness that comes with this. But at the same time, this is a very special moment about a very special person and a very special force and a very special community and a very special partner. And I'm really glad we had a chance ultimately with our colleagues in the legislature to say God bless and thank you to the Gannon family and to everybody else who was part of making this happen. God bless and thank you. Lieutenant Governor.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor, for your beautiful and heartfelt words, and I can attest to every word, but also the feeling and the heart that goes behind each one, as I have been a co-pilot with the Governor over the past 7.5 years, and I know how much he pours his heart and soul into his work and into causes like this. This is a sad day and a beautiful day all in once. I stand in this facility and I can't help but think, after Sergeant John's death, what the outpouring was in this community to support the men and women who serve and their families, and in particular the Bryan and Gannon families. And this building, as the Governor said, the house that Sean built, is indeed a reflection of this community. And that is a beautiful thing to celebrate. And it is yours. It doesn't happen everywhere, but it happens here. And you should be very proud of that. I'm here today feeling very grateful for the men and women, past and future, and all their families who serve, who put the uniform on every day, who train and commit themselves to the safety of others, no matter what comes their way. We have two sides of the coin here represented, right? You have Kit, who saved these officers' lives, who are with us here today. We have Nero doing his job, but we don't have Sean with us here today. That coin can flip easily either way. It's what we do as a result that really is the measure of our commitment. People can talk, and then they can walk and actually follow through with the words that they promise to protect the people who put themselves in harm's way to protect us every day. This law is an example of walking the walk. I want to thank Will Crocker. I want to thank Representative Zaros. That smile, thank you. We need that. We need a lot more of those. I want to thank the delegation, Senator Mark Montigny from the Gannon's home area. And I want to thank Chief Frederickson. I want to thank Chief Dubois. And I want to thank Mayor Kokoros from the Braintree area. I also want to acknowledge that we are proud of the way we police here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Yes, there have been lots of reforms, but also we lead in the way we police with community policing, with training, with equipment. And here we celebrate another asset in our training toolkit, and that is the K-9 officer. I have a friend who is a K-9 officer in Worcester, Danny Pinellatori. A lot of you probably know him. I have learned through him the value of these K-9 officers. He trains Malinois. They're smart, they're specifically skilled, they are unique officers, unique animals that serve missions that we as humans, as officers that stand on 2 feet, can't do. They are an essential asset to our officers to be able to do their work even better. I actually asked Danny to train my dog. And I also know that it's not only about the dog, it's about the partner and the owner. I am not as good a partner to my dog as these partners are to theirs, because they view them as an essential part of how they police and how they do their work. So today is a good day, okay? And there'll be more moments, unfortunately, ahead where we have to take a pause and figure out how we can do things even better. And that's how we'll continue to make progress and continue to honor Sergeant Sean and his family, Kit, and others whose lives have been lost in the service of others and the safety of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We honor them by doing what we're doing today. And I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, how grateful I am and how proud I am of all of you. I'd now like to introduce Senator Bruce Tarr.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. Chief Frederickson, thank you for welcoming us once again to Yarmouth, and thank you for your continuous advocacy on behalf of the men and women who provide us with professional policing each and every day of the Commonwealth. It is truly an honor to be here with so many people who are so committed to maintaining our public safety each and every day. It's an honor to spend a few moments thinking about what you mean in our lives. It's also an honor to be here with such dedicated colleagues in state government. The governor, the lieutenant governor, so many of my legislative colleagues who I am so proud of today. And today, we think about a tragic day 4 years ago when we were reminded of some things, where we learned some things, and we were called to action. We were reminded that there is danger in this world and those who would do harm. We were reminded that in the face of that danger, there are brave men and women who every single day put on a badge, have sworn an oath, and walk through their front door, or maybe their back door, to defend us, not knowing what that might mean, but all the while aware that it might mean a loss of life, an impairment, an injury that will last for an entire life. We were reminded that we are blessed to have such people who stand up for us every day, like Sergeant Sean Gannon. And we were reminded that when they do that each and every day, oftentimes beside them, sometimes in front of them, there is a partner, a canine officer, who has many different attributes, well-trained, keen sense of smell, keen sense of vision. But perhaps the most notable attribute is a big and unrelenting heart and loyalty to the mission, to the partner, and to our safety. Those are the things that we were reminded of. And what we learned that day was that when one of those partners, in this case Nero, was in that moment, that critical moment of needing to be saved, and he turned to the public safety family, and we learned about an obstacle that kept him from being able to get into an ambulance to get to the right care. We also learned and were reminded of the incredible resourcefulness of the people that serve in our public safety ranks who figured out a way to get Nero to help in a police cruiser. And by the grace of God, he's here with us today. And on that day, with many emotions, there was also a call to action. A call to action to remove that impediment that delayed Nero's ability to get to help. and would have delayed the ability to get to help for Kit and many, many others across the state if they were in the same place. And I am so proud to live in a commonwealth where that call to action was heard. It was heard by the legislators who are here. I'm so proud of all of my colleagues. It was heard by Sergeant Sean's family, who in their time of grief found a place in their heart to have the courage to lead. Mrs. Gannon and I spoke on the way here with our colleague Mark Montigny. And he told me that he's been in touch with you on, if not almost a weekly basis. He was wondering when you'll be dropping off food this afternoon when you return to New Bedford. But he spoke to me of your courage and your leadership, and he said, without you and your family, we wouldn't be at this moment. And like so many cases of important legislation, this bill happened as much because of people like you outside of state government as it did to all of us being receptive inside of state government. And we owe you an incredible debt of gratitude. Now, if you'll indulge me for just a moment, I'm going to tell you about one of the things that I think is most important in Massachusetts state government but doesn't get discussed enough. And that is that once a week, the entire leadership of state government sits around a table. The governor, the lieutenant governor, the speaker, the Senate president, the Ways and Means chairs, the minority leaders, the secretary of A&F. And I think, Governor, you had said one time that that's a meeting that you don't dare miss if you're in state government. And at that meeting, there is a list of items to be discussed. All kinds of legislation changes all the time. The one thing that didn't change was that Governor Baker, at every single meeting, with all the issues going on in state government, said, we need to get Nero's bill passed. That's leadership. So today, we are here to mark the legacy of a great police officer and a great member of this community and a great inspiration to all of us in the form of Sergeant Gannon. We are here to be thankful that Nero is with us, being a little bit shy at the moment. We're thankful for Kit. We're thankful for the men and women in law enforcement in this Commonwealth who we have a solemn obligation to support in every way we possibly can. We're here to be thankful because we have a legislature that is not obstructed by partisanship and finds ways to work together and move forward and get important things on the desk of a responsive governor. And we're here to remember that what started as a call to action 4 years ago completes today with what will soon be the signature of a passionate and responsive governor, making sure that never again does a canine officer, a partner, a member of this law enforcement family have to have delay in treatment. May God bless all of them, all of those who serve, and thank you so much to everyone in this team who got this done this day, another important page in the history of leadership in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Thank you.
My friend, Representative Stephen G. Exaro.
Amen. This is very emotional for me and a lot of us, but I am grateful that we were able to pass this very important bill and make it a law. The bill is evidence that even today, amidst all the turmoil in the world, good people can come together and accomplish what is the right thing to do for the benefit of all of us. We come here today to rejoice and celebrate the hard work that made this bill a law, but also we know today is a solemn and bittersweet day. My emotions are all over the place. Exactly 4 years ago today, our lives changed forever. It was on this very day in 2018 that Canine Sergeant Sean M. Gannon and Nero and my brothers in blue were sent out to locate and apprehend a violent career criminal that never should have been on the street. And so it's on this day that Sergeant Gannon lost his life in service to our community and when Nero was seriously injured. I can't believe it's been 4 years. It feels like yesterday. Many of us were there that day. And I was the one who gave those officers their initial assignment. Many of them, I'm deeply grateful and thankful that they're alive. They're heroes and they're survivors. And some of them are here with us today. And I was there when Nero was taken out of the building, seriously hurt. My fiancée, Denise, who is a nurse, was right down the street in the emergency department, right down the street at Cape Cod Hospital, as she and her dedicated team of healthcare workers did the best they could valiantly and did everything they could to save Sean's life. Nero's bill is personal to me and for all of us that wear blue. We've spent the past 4 years grieving, and we continue to honor the service and the sacrifice of Sergeant Gannon. His memory lives on forever in our hearts. We will never forget him. Those of us who have worked in law enforcement and public safety, we're a family. And when something happens to one of us, it's on all of us. It's a brotherhood and sisterhood like nothing else. Through good and tragic times, we are always there and we stick together. And that's true whether you're talking about a human being or a service animal dedicated to protecting humans. That's why Nero's bill is so important. It's not just a piece of paper. Someday this bill will save a life, and that means everything to me and all of us. The animals that Nero's bill will protect are not just pets. They are every bit the heroes that we recognize their human counterparts in law enforcement to be every day. I am humbled and I'm grateful that we were able to take action to protect them. And I'd like to personally thank several people who helped along the way. State Rep Will Crocker, and his Chief of Staff, Caitlin Wright, sitting right in front of him. And Dr. Kevin Smith, the veterinarian who helped create the original version of the bill, and for all your hard work to help us get it over the goal line. I'd also like to thank Senator Montigny, my fellow New Bedford Whaler. I'm from New Bedford. Montigny's from New Bedford. The Gannons are from New Bedford. So it's a tough city. And when things happen, we stick together. And I thank you very much. The Senate Chair of the Joint Committee on Public Safety, Walter Timothy, for his leadership and assistance. And also, my personal thanks goes out to House Chair of the Joint Committee on Public Safety, which I'm on, my amigo, Representative Carlos Gonzalez, for always being there and your steadfast leadership to help getting it done. To Senate President, the Speaker, the House Leader Jones, Senate Minority Leaders, I thank you. This is all new to me, and I love it. And we're not done yet. I thank my brother in blue, Tim Whalen, State Trooper, brother in blue, and all my fellow Cape Cod legislators, Senator Sear, Senator Moran, my brother Kip Diggs with the same haircut, and all of the Cape Cod. Dave Vieira is here too somewhere, and everyone from the Cape. What a team we have, and I'm proud to be part of it. And again, Senator Timilty and Representative Roy, because it's your district where the Braintree Police, my worst nightmare was that it would happen again, and it did. K-9 Kit lost his life, saving the lives of 3 Braintree police officers and countless Braintree citizens. Thank you for your unwavering support of this bill. And of course, I thank you, Governor Baker. You were there when we lost Sean, and Lieutenant Governor Polito. You have a huge heart, both of you. You see how he speaks. It comes from the heart. And yeah, you wanted this done every day for 4 years. And I'm grateful that you got it done. And finally, you know, today is K-9 Sergeant Sean McNamee Gannon's Day. And his loving family, his wonderful wife, Dara, amazing woman, and his parents, Denise, who you'll hear from in a minute, Dad, Patrick. We are family, and we always will be. And lastly, this is like a movie to me, because 5 years ago, Sean and I stood here. It was a wooded lot with a big hole in it. And he said, "Deputy, you think we could take some trees down and make a space so the dogs could train? And that we could train our police officers, Nero, and all the dogs for generations to come." Sean was destined to do great things. He lived a life devoted to service before self. Sean, you keep doing those great things. You keep living your dreams, because today, a dream has come true. Thank you.